Welcome to the third main content area for this class on the anatomy and physiology of speech and swallowing. At this point, you have learned about the structures and systems involved in respiration and phonation. Recall that when we produce a voice-speech sound like ah, we must push air up from our respiratory system and through our adducted vocal folds. This causes the true vocal folds to vibrate at a certain frequency and provide a buzz which serves as the sound source. The next step will be to shape that laryngeal buzz into distinct voiced speech sounds. We will accomplish this with the speech systems of articulation and resonance. Here we go. The vocal tract above the larynx is composed of a series of 3 linked tubes. These 3 tubes are able to change in shape and size to filter or shape or resonate different sounds. Depending on the configuration of these 3 tubes, we will be able to produce various and distinct speech sounds. The oral cavity is in your mouth and extends from the lips in the front to the pharynx in the back. The nasal cavity is your nose and extends from your nostrils in front to the pharynx in back. The pharyngeal cavity is your throat and extends from your nasal or oral cavities above to the larynx below. As muscles contract or relax, the size and shape of the vocal tract will change, allowing different sounds to pass through. We call this resonance. Think about a stringed instrument for a moment. Take 2 instruments of different shapes, say a banjo and a guitar, and notice that you will get different sounds. Different shaped instruments will produce, or filter, or resonate different sounds. Now let's take some instruments with the same general shape, but of different sizes. Say the violin, viola, cello, and bass. Note that while the same general quality of the sound produced remains similar, each instrument will produce, or filter, or resonate different frequencies of sound. The deepest or lowest tones are produced by the large bass, while the highest frequency tones are produced by the smaller violin. Assuming that you do not have different string instruments lying around your house, you might have glassware of different sizes and shapes in your house. Pause the video for a quick experiment. What happens to the sound that is produced, in other words, filtered or resonated, as you rub your same wet finger around the rim of each glass? Please note that the glasses need to be made of real glass, and you get the best results with crystal stemware. You will learn more about resonance and filtering of sound waves in your class on phonetics and acoustics, as well as audiology. For now, you should just understand that changing the shape and size of the vocal tract will filter or resonate or produce different sounds. We can alter the configuration of the 3 cavities of our vocal tract. So what does all of this mean for speech production, you may be wondering? Well, let's apply this knowledge. Remember our source filter theory and its application to voiced speech sounds? Well, now you know that the source for voiced speech sounds is generated within the larynx by the vibration of the true vocal folds. What happens next is to filter this laryngeal buzz into distinct speech sounds is the job of the articulation and resonance systems. Resonance means a process of filtering sounds through the 3 tubes of our vocal tract, the oral, nasal, and pharyngeal cavities. We can filter or resonate different sounds by changing the shape or size of these 3 linked tubes. When we discuss resonance of speech sounds, we will refer primarily to the difference between oral and nasal sounds. Oral sounds, such as Z, will be produced by resonating sounds within the mouth when we close off the nasal cavity above. The image on the left shows how we close off the nasal cavity at the back to produce an oral sound. Nasal sounds, such as N, will be produced by resonating sounds within the nasal cavity when we close off the oral cavity below. The image on the right shows how we open the nasal cavity at the back to produce a nasal sound. Articulation is defined as the final aspect of speech production, which shapes or filters the output of the respiratory and phonatory systems. We will use several different sets of structures and muscles within the articulatory system to create different, distinct speech sounds. Articulation is a rapid, coordinated process that allows us to clearly and intelligibly utter speech at a rate of about 14 sounds per second during typical running speech. Amazing what we can do when you stop and think about all the structures, muscles, and systems involved in creating speech, isn't it? As you embark on your journey into the resonance and articulation systems, here is an overview of the different mobile or movable and immobile articulators that you will encounter. We will learn about the rigid, bony structures first, including the mandible, alveolar ridge, hard palate, and teeth. Then we will move on to learn about the muscle systems of the jaw, face, tongue, velum, and pharynx. So let's get to it.